Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. I am very excited for today's video because my Oden sEye order finally came and I have both of the Christmas palettes that they launched. So these actually launched I think before Halloween, which felt a little weird being very Christmassy, but with how long it takes for them to get to people, it makes sense timing wise. I knew I definitely had to get the Christmas Eve palette, and then after seeing a little bit more of this one, I decided to grab both. So I'm gonna do swatches of both of these so you can see them on my olive skin in case that is helpful for you. And then I'm gonna do a few looks with them. I think I'm gonna do 2 looks with each palette, like 1 on each eye, twice. So 2 looks with this, 2 looks with this. But we'll see how things work. I feel like my chest hurts a little bit today and I can't tell if I'm getting a cold or something. I took a COVID test and it was negative, but feel like talking is a little difficult. But I am very excited to try these. They look really beautiful, especially this one. But you know, I am a sucker for blue. So, and if you're new here, welcome. My name is Colin. I am a non-binary Latinx scientist and lover of makeup with a soft spot for indie makeup and colorful makeup. And I have new content every week, so I'd love to have you subscribe. So these are the palettes. This is the Christmas Eve palette, and this is the Merry Christmas palette. I was a little torn on this one, but once I saw, I think it was Lauren May did her video swatching them out on her hand and showing the colors, I was like, okay, now you sold me. Because some of them were pretty unique. I'm not normally a fan of red and green as a combo, so that's why I was a little hesitant. But I knew I had to get this one. They look really beautiful. These are each a 16 pan eyeshadow palette, so they are $43, I believe. I'll have everything in the description box. And they are limited edition. So Oden sEye did say that these will be around through the end of the year, but then that's it. And then you can use an influencer code to get a discount. I don't remember whose I used, but I did use one that'll save you 10%. I don't have one. Oden sEye doesn't know I exist, but definitely use one if you do buy these at all. Shipping takes a little while, but not horribly. It took like, 10 days, 2 weeks or so, which isn't the worst, especially for coming as far as they are. I'm very excited for these. I also, because I got them the day they launched, got these so that each one came with a little ornament keychain. They're very cute. I don't know if I'll actually use these. I might give them away or something, but they're adorable. I like the little snowman in this one. I really love the holographic detail for this. I think each palette is half matte, half shimmer. So like 8 mattes, 7 metallic shimmers, and 1 multichrome. But we'll see as I swatch them. So this is also the same size as the Norns palette and the Hella palette if you have those. And then they have a little sleeve. It's identical. The difference, this has the ingredients on it, but I probably won't keep that. I kept it for the Hella palette because it looked different, but these look the same. And then this one has the names on the back. I do want to say I'm a little annoyed that there is a typo. There was also a typo in the new Natasha Denona palette. Of course, it was the shade Spontaneous, which I thought was kind of amusing more than anything. So it looked like there were 2 typos in the promo photos, but I think it's just the one. So this one, people thought it was probably supposed to be Silvery Dream, but it says Slivery Dream. I don't know. But this one back here says Fleeting Time. And then on the palette itself, it says Fealteen Time. So the L is in the wrong place. It's not a make or break, like it's not a deal breaker for me, but I did want to point that out because there were people in the comments saying that they weren't going to buy it because of the typo. So this is the Christmas Eve palette. I'm sure you've all seen these. You've got a nice little round mirror. And then the color story, this is very much a me palette, a winter palette for me. I will wear this all winter, not just Christmas. I love that it's got blues, it's got some more purple tones, it's got like an olive green and kind of an olivey brown here. Really love that. Just this is like a perfect color story for me, so I'm really excited for this one. It also gives me, with the blue and the silver and stuff, it gives me kind of Hanukkah vibes, New Year's vibes. So I think this is really beautiful. And then this is the Merry Christmas palette, and it is red and green, but I think a really nice take on it. It's not primary red and primary green. The greens here, you've got some murky greens, you've got a mint. This is like a darker blue-green, that's kind of a sagey, and then the reds are a little darker and not quite like bright cranberry Christmas red. So I actually appreciate that. So I really love Oden's Eye. I have a lot of their palettes. I love them all. I think they do a really great job at having really interesting color stories and really interesting mixes of textures. So I'm really excited to try this and see how they compare. I do think it's interesting that they went full-blown Christmas and they didn't do like Yule or something, especially because everything else is Norse mythology, Scandinavian mythology focused. I feel like doing the like old school pagan Yule would have been an interesting take versus just Christmas, but I'm not mad, especially at this one. So I took my watch off and I'm gonna do swatches. I'm probably gonna have to do one at a time just because there's so many shades, but we'll see. So sometimes I do mattes and then shimmers, but this time I'm just gonna go in order. So the first shade is Snowflake, which is just a silver metallic. It's very textured and sparkly. The next shade is Ice Crystal, which is a very soft gray, but kind of a blue gray. We'll see how this works on my skin tone. And then Slivery Dream is this really pretty, it looks kind of taupe. Yeah, it's kind of like a taupey metallic. It's really beautiful. I love these kind of shades. And then Nightfall is this bright blue. And I don't have any primer or anything down. So this is definitely very textured, but really beautiful. This is the kind of shade I would wear like every day. Really beautiful. It's taupe, but there's like pink and silver in it. It's really interesting. It's not just like a standard taupe. Okay, so then we've got Just Now, which is the green. Feels very silky. Kind of a pale green. It looks a little lighter on my finger than it does in pan. Snowlight is a pale gold. Really pretty. Oh yeah, that's really pretty. Christmas Eve is the dark blue. That's really nice. So far they're looking a little lighter in the swatch than they do on the pan. And then Blue Ice. This is a little less textured, really pretty, kind of a blue silver, like blue with some silver in it. It's a nice green. I'm gonna do a little bit more of the green. It's a really pretty tone of green. So that gold is really pretty. That would be a really nice look. Just put the green matte everywhere and put that on the lid. Blue's nice. And that's a really pretty sparkly blue. Okay, so then we've got Fleeting Time, which is the one with the typo. And it's a really pretty bronze. That's really nice. Nowhere. This is kind of a mauve-y shade. Yeah, that's really pretty. Wonderful. It's a very smooth purple metallic. And there's a little bit of blue sparkle in there too. Really pretty. And then Softly is this kind of like grungy brown, olive green. That's really pretty. That is really pigmented and really creamy. This one's a little thinner. This is a really thick, creamy formula. That's pretty. Okay, so that's one. So the more soft shades are a little bit of a different texture than this one and this one. And then the olivey brown. That's really pretty. That would look really nice with this, just doing those two shades. A lot of the time, the looks that I do when I'm not filming are like a matte and a shimmer, or a matte and a darker matte in the corner and then a shimmer. So, and I know a lot of people do those on a daily basis, so I like to point out pairings. This is Lemon Tart, I think. Yeah, this is another typo. So on the back it says Lemon Tart, and here it says Lemob with a B. And it looks like a satin. Yeah, it doesn't look quite like a matte like the others. Gorgeous is the multi-chrome. That is gorgeous. It's blue and purple, and there's, as the light hits it while I'm holding it this way, there's like a green. So you're seeing blue, purple there. If I do it this way, you can kind of see some of the green in gold. That's beautiful. Night sky, really dark blue. And then blue stars, this really pretty blue. That is beautiful. And that is definitely a duochrome, like a blue purple, because I'm holding it here, it's reflecting intensely bright blue. And if I hold it this way, I see a dark purple, like a blackened purple. Yeah, that's definitely a satin. That's so pretty. I don't think the camera is gonna do that justice. So I'm seeing blue, green, gold when I look here, and then in the camera I'm seeing just like purple with like a flash of brighter purple. Really pretty. My favorite color of blue, or tone of blue. And then, yeah, you can see how shifty that one is too. So this is the Christmas Eve palette. I love this. This is maybe my new favorite Oden sEye. So I'm gonna go wash this off and do the Christmas palette. I have too many tattoos over here. I don't think it would show up very well. And so now it's time to swatch the Christmas Day palette, or the Merry Christmas palette, I should say. Washed off fine, no staining. I also do want to point out, because it is now officially the gray season in Seattle, we don't really have fall or winter, we just have gray and wet. It's so dark, even though it's mid-afternoon, that I had to actually pull out my light for once, because otherwise you would not be able to see me. I prefer to film in natural light, but that really only works in the summer, at least while I live here. So here is the Merry Christmas palette. I keep wanting to say Christmas Day because that one's Christmas Eve, but it's Christmas Eve and Merry Christmas. The multi-chrome in here is Elf Wish, which looks really interesting. And I do like that it's like a green section and a red section. So let's see how these perform. I don't think this one has any typos like the other one did. So the first shade is the multi-chrome, which is Elf Wish, which looks like just lime green with some gold in the pan, but then I see hints of pink. And then on my finger, I definitely see like pink, yellow, gold, lime. It's really, really interesting. There's like a flash of like silver on the edge. We've got matcha cookie, which feels really nice. Feels a little thicker than some of the others. Didn't really stick to my finger, which is interesting. Jingle Bell looks like one of the more textured shades. That's beautiful. I can't wait to use that. It's kind of like a maroon base with a green gold shift. So that classic duochrome of the maroon base with the more like blue kind of shift that you see. It's that kind of base, but it's got the green gold. Really like that. And then New Leaf is this sagey color. Really pretty. This is just so shiny. Like, the light keeps hitting it and it's just so bright. So there is the multi-chrome. Oh, you can see the shift better on this one on camera. So when I look, I just see yellow and lime green and gold. And then reflecting, I'm seeing like peach, pink, and like silver. Really, really interesting. It's part of why I wanted the palette. Matcha cookie, really pretty. That's really beautiful. And you can see that brown, that warm brown base. And then here is the sage. This is probably gonna be a long video because it's multiple looks and all the swatches. Snowman is the next shade. It's really pretty. A little more peach flip with a green in it. Best Wish. It's kind of a mint. Christmas tree. Really pretty blue-based green. And New Year. Really pretty kind of teal green shimmer. That one's more of a wash of color. I feel like I'm gonna grab that a lot for just a daily, put that in the lid, maybe with gingerbread, call it a day. That is very pastel. That is a really pretty green. And that's really pretty. These are the kind of shades that if you don't have an olive undertone might look more green on you, but on me they're gonna pull very teal and very blue, just because of my undertone. That's part of why I like to swatch things, so you can see that if you are also olive. And now for the reds. So we've got Little Star, which is more smooth, really pretty, kind of peachy copper, gingerbread, really pretty orange kind of shade. Bliss looks like a cranberry purple duochrome. That's really pretty. I like that they each have a multi-chrome and a duochrome. Poinsettia is this classic red. This one does feel a little dry. It's a little bit of a sheer shade, but it's definitely that peachy copper. And that's like a nice orange brown. That's really pretty. The flash of blue is really, really intense. And there's the red. Okay, so then we've got the dark shade, which is Hot Cocoa, or the dark red shade, I should say. Beautiful. This is my favorite kind of red, this dark red. All Right is this like orange. Wow, orange with a gold flip. Happy Ending is kind of a charcoal black. And then Santa Star is really textured and is a very vibrant shade. This is one that when I saw Lauren May swatch, I was like, okay, yeah, there's enough shades in this that I'm definitely getting it. So I definitely prefer this kind of red to this. That's really pretty. And that's intense. That's another duochrome. That's beautiful. I'm definitely using that today. Okay, so these are really beautiful. I'm definitely doing one look with this and one look with this. So I will be right back. Okay, so I'm back. Washed off my arm so I don't get it everywhere. And I'm gonna start with Christmas Eve because I feel like it's Christmas Eve, that one's Christmas Day themed. It just works out best that way. I apologize for how long this video probably is gonna be with the swatches and all of the looks, but I will have timestamps below for everything. And then my makeup, as always, will be in the description box. It's just my go-to makeup lately. And then I put on the Haus Labs Mocha lipstick. I got this during the Sephora sale. I didn't buy very much, not enough to do a haul video. I also just don't really like those. It's just like, look at how much money I spent. But I did pick this up and really, really love this. It's a perfect everyday kind of lip for me. So I already loved their old lipstick formula, and I feel like they made it even better in the new line. And I have 3 of them, I think. Really like them, but this is perfect. So I'm gonna do a blue look and a green look, just because you could easily do a purple look where you use Nowhere, and maybe Night Sky. You could also do a very yellow kind of look with these, but I'm gonna do green and blue. We'll see what shimmers I use. So I already primed with my Urban Decay eye primer, and I'm gonna do the blue side first just because. So I'm gonna pick up Nightfall as my first shade and tap that off. And then I'm just gonna use the mirror and the palette, and I'm gonna put that in my crease. Very pigmented. Oden's eye palettes tend to be. I really love their formula. It's pigmented but still blendable and layers really well together. I mean, look at that. I feel like they were really good before, but in the last year or so, they've really made it even better. I kind of want to see what the gray is going to look like, so I'm going to try a little bit of that, but I didn't want that to be a transition and make the whole thing overly ashy. That looks nice. The edges blend in pretty well. I mean, blue's never gonna blend into your skin perfectly because you don't have blue skin. But I'm gonna take a little bit of ice crystal and I'm gonna put that on the inner part of the crease and blend it over the edges just to see what it does. It definitely shows up. It's not overly ashy or anything, especially for gray. I don't think I'll get a lot of use out of it, but I'm not mad that it's there. And then I'm just kind of brushing over the edges to make sure it's all diffused. Okay, I really like that. I'm gonna grab Christmas Eve, which is the next dark blue, and I'm gonna put that right here. It's a little more mid-tone blue than dark blue, so I'll probably try to use Night Sky as well. Okay, those blended together really nicely, and I'm just taking the first brush with a little bit more of the light blue, just to make sure that they blend together seamlessly. And then I'm gonna take Night Sky on the same little brush and put it here. And that definitely adds a good amount of depth. This is kind of like how the dark red is my favorite kind of red. This is my favorite kind of blue. And that performs really beautifully. And then I'm gonna take the shade Nowhere, the more purple. I'm gonna run that under my lash line. I don't wanna go full monochromatic. You could just use blue down here, and then you could use the blue shimmers, Blue Star and Blue Ice, and be very monochromatic. I just don't want to do monochromatic. And then I'm gonna take a little bit more of Night Sky and brush it down here. So this is a very big, bold eye look. I might do a more subdued one on the side just so we can see what you can do daily friendly if you don't kind of wear these colors on the daily. And then I think you could do monochromatic, so you could do Blue Ice and Blue Star on the lid. You could use Wonderful. You could use Fleeting Time and have that contrast of the gold copper to the blue, which I actually really like that kind of look. But I think I'm going to use Gorgeous. It's the multi-chrome. I just really want to see what it looks like on the eye. So pick that up on a rougher 21. And you could use glitter glue. I'm not, it would definitely make it pop more. But since I'm filming in so many looks, I'm not going to. And this is, it's gorgeous. I think they named it appropriately. It's really beautiful. I think you can see the pink and the peach and the gold a lot more now that it's on the eye. It's a really beautiful shade. Okay, so I really like the way this looks. I'm gonna go to the other eye and then I'll finish them both at the same time. So on this side, I'm gonna go a little softer. So I'm gonna start with the shade Softly, which is the olivey shade. And I'm picking that up on a smaller brush. This is a rougher 1, because I don't want it to blow out as much as this one. And I'm gonna place that right here, really like that. And then blend that into my crease. This is my favorite shade for that kind of look, where I put the matte down out here and then blend it into the crease and end there. So this is definitely building up pretty dark, which I appreciate. And I think because this is a little darker than I thought, I'm gonna use the green as well. I mean, I could easily just use this, blend it out. Let's see if I grab this fluffy brush. Yeah, definitely, if you use a fluffier brush, it's a little less dark. So it's a good matte that can, you know, build up or diffuse, which I really appreciate. And then I'm gonna pick up the green. I'm gonna put that my inner corner, or not inner corner, inner half of the crease. and blend out. Okay, so I do like that this is a little softer, but also grungier and less bright and colorful. So I'm gonna pick up the lemon tart shade, which felt like a satin, and I'm gonna put that under my lash line. I wanna see how that shows up. And then I'm taking a little bit more of the olive shade and connecting the two. Okay, the yellow is pretty. It is definitely satin. Nice for an inner corner or wash of color, but at least on my skin tone, not the most impactful yellow. And I do really want to use this shade, but I feel like that's going to be more of a one and done shade for me. So I'm going to go into these two more gold shades. So I'm going to pick up Fleeting Time and put it on the outer part of my lid. Nothing better than olive and gold together, and bronze. It's really pretty. And then I'm gonna pick up the Snow Light shade and put it like inner corner and inward. And just blend the two together in the middle. Okay, really like that. And then just because I'm gonna take a little bit of the silver on a pencil brush and I'm gonna try that as an inner corner shade over here. I think that could be a nice wash of sparkle over the whole look too, if you were doing a different shimmer, like if you did this one. Okay, I'm gonna go off camera and finish these and I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm back and this is the finished first two looks. I put falsies on just because I'm about to wash this off to play with the other palette and I didn't want to have to wash mascara off. And these were a pain to put on, especially this one. It just kept sticking to my finger or anything but my eye. So it's not perfect, but I don't care. I've given up. I'm just washing this off anyway. But yeah, this one just did not want to work. This one went on without an issue. It's a little noticeable because I don't have eyeliner on, but whatever. I really love these. I think this multi-chrome is really, really unique and really beautiful. I really love it, and I think you could wear it pretty much over any of the shadows in here, which I appreciate. And then this eye is kind of my go-to daily kind of look. Really love it. Shadows performed well, so seems like the great Oden's eye quality is normal. I think this palette would do really well as like a pick one, maybe two mattes, pick a shimmer kind of palette. Like pick the two blues and then a blue shimmer, pick this and this, or pick the blue and this. You know, you can go bold and dramatic, or you can have it be a little subtle, which I appreciate. And this lash is popping off again. So I'm gonna go take this off and I'll be right back to do two more looks. And I'm not messing with false lashes next time. Okay, so I'm back. I wiped off the last two looks. Definitely not fussing with falsies for these. I will just do mascara at the end. It's just wiping off mascara tends to make it take forever and irritate my eyes, and I didn't want to deal with that. But then I spent like 20 minutes fighting with false lashes. I'm really excited to try this one and see how these work. I'm gonna do a red look and a green look probably just because that's how the palette is. I will not be combining. I hate that. You can do that if you like it. I've seen people where I'm like, that's cute. It's very Christmassy. That's just not for me. I do think I found, I'm not sure if hot cocoa is misspelled or not, because most hot cocoa should be C-O-C-O-A. There's no A, it's just cocoa. And I noticed that this shade is called All Right. I don't know if it's supposed to be All Right or All Night or whatever. I do think it's interesting that the right part, like it's two words, all right, and right is all lowercase, and every other one, each word is starts with a capital. So I'm curious what their intention was with that. But let's just move on. So I'm gonna do the reddy tones on this side. I don't know if I'll use the poinsettia shade. I'm gonna start with gingerbread and try that out. So picking that up on a rougher one, and I already put some more of my Urban Decay primer on, and I'm just going to blend this into the crease. Very pigmented. And I do think gingerbread is the kind of shade, like a daily friendly shade. If you wanted to buy this because you love Christmas, but you're not gonna wear these colors all the time, it's a lot of money to have something you're only gonna wear at Christmas. But having like matcha cookie be that like kind of earthy green, and having gingerbread be this like earthy orangey brown, and then having the shimmers, I think you could easily pull a look anytime out of this with one of the shimmers, or this with one of the green shimmers. So I don't think it has to be a Christmas only palette, which I do appreciate the tone they picked because of that. And then on this side, I'm going to pick up Hot Cocoa on cleaned off rougher brush. This is a 14, tapping off the excess as always, and I'm gonna put that right here. Really love that shade. I don't have a lot of reds like this in my collection, even though it's my favorite. I just don't feel like brands make them. They tend to go bright red. They don't tend to do kind of a burnt, or they do brick. They don't tend to do this kind of a shade. Very pigmented. That was one dip, and it is blending out all over. So that's gonna be the primary shade of this look, apparently. So go in with a light hand if you don't want this shadow to be everywhere. I'm gonna pick up the fluffier brush and go back in with gingerbread in a minute to make sure it's blended and the edges are there, but this kind of took over. So picking up more gingerbread, and I'm just going to go over this whole area again. And then I think I'm gonna take gingerbread and go under my lash line with that. I'm just not using the poinsettia shade at all. It's just a little too bright red, and I want to keep this a little smokier. And then using a pencil brush, I'm going to pick up the black / charcoal. I don't know what it's going to be. And I'm going to put that right here. Very pigmented. I just wanted to see how well this black works. So I'm just going to blend it all along my lash line and then into the outer V a little bit. Okay, so unsurprising, these are very pigmented, but they blend together beautifully. So that's really nice. And so you could easily do a really easy daily friendly look. Maybe put this all over the lid, blend out the edges with that, or just use this in a shimmer. But you can also go very smoky. So really like that. And then I really want to use this Santa Star shade, this really textured one. It just looked so pretty when swatched out. So I'm picking that up. Picks up very chunky. It is a very flaky shade, but it did smooth out pretty well. So let's see how that works. So it's going on kind of chunky with a brush. I don't have any glitter glue down. That might help it be less chunky, but it is pretty chunky going on. So I'm gonna try my finger and I hope to see if the warmth of my finger helps. Yeah, the warmth of my finger helps. So this is definitely a shade to use. I think a tacky primer might help, like a glitter primer, but I think a finger is just what you need. Because it's so textured, it needs the warmth of your finger to blend it out. And I do have a little bit of fallout, but not too much. So I'm just gonna try to wipe that away. Okay, so that did not wipe away. So if you're gonna use the shade, do your eyes first, because it is so chunky. But it is really beautiful, and it really catches the light well. And then I'm gonna take a little bit of Little Star, and I'm gonna put that right here and underneath, just to see what that looks like on the eye. Definitely a much smoother shade. A little less greeny gold and a little more just like peach and warm. Really pretty. Not bright enough for the inner corner, but still really nice. I'm actually gonna take the multi-chrome and put that on my inner corner and just see what it does. Because it's got gold and peach and all of those colors, I wanna see if it pulls green next to all of these warm tones. doesn't. There's a bit of green there, but it does pull very vibrantly peach and pink. So it's a very interesting multi-chrome. I think if I use it on this side, it's gonna pull very green, so I'm gonna try that. Okay, so now for this side, I think Matcha Cookie is the kind of shade I would use all the time. And I'm torn, do I wanna use Matcha Cookie and do kind of a look that I would do on a daily basis? Or do I wanna try like the sage color? Or the best wish shade? Or the Christmas tree shade and do like full green like this side? I think I'm gonna do full green like this side, but I do think Matcha Cookie with either Jingle Bell or Snowman would be like an easy, almost one and done kind of look that I would do regularly. But I'm gonna try and see how these work. So let's pick up a little bit of Best Wish, and I'm gonna put that right here just to see how well it shows up. So that does show up, but it is a very pastel. So you could use it as a matte inner corner, but that's pretty much all I would use that for. And then let's pick up the sage color and see how that looks. So I'm gonna put that out here. That's really pretty. A lot of kick up in the pan for that one. Doesn't really bother me, but I did want to point that out. Figure if I'm doing a red and green eye, I might as well do a red and green eye. That's a really beautiful sage color. I feel like the sage in the new Natasha Denona palette that's coming out soon is not quite sage enough. It doesn't have enough gray in it. This is definitely very sagey. And then I'm gonna pick up Christmas Tree on a small brush and put that right here. Really pretty. And that blends out beautifully. I'm gonna take New Leaf again and run it underneath my eye. And then a little bit of Christmas Tree. Oh, that could have been bad. And then a little bit of Christmas Tree right here. And then I'm just gonna blend that all together. And then I'm gonna take the black shade again, just because I used it on this side. I'm gonna try it on this side. And I'm gonna put it right here on my lash line again and blend it in to the outer corner. And to make sure it's blending nicely, I'm just using the shade I did the dark green with and blending that in. And that deepened things really nicely. So I really like that. I think I do need to finesse the edge a little bit, but that's fine. And then on this side, I could use Jingle Bell or Snowman, but I think I'm just gonna put the multi-chrome all over. So I'm gonna pick up Elf Wish, and I'm gonna spread that all over my lid. So pretty, pulling very peach. It looks like it would just be a lime green in the pan, like a lime green duochrome. But it's so interesting. I definitely do not have another multi-chrome in my collection that looks like this. Definitely still some green in there, especially on the edge, but the predominant colors are like those pink, gold, peach. It's like all the colors of Christmas put together. Really pretty. Okay, so I'm gonna go off camera. I'm gonna finesse the edge right here and add some mascara, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm back and this is the finished looks. This multi-chrome Elf Wish is so pretty in the bathroom. I'll try to capture a little video on my phone and insert it here. But when I was adding my mascara, I could clearly see like kind of fiery peach, like red, peach, gold, green. Like you could cross the lid. So beautiful. You can see that flash of green there, but like it was very, very noticeable, like the shift in the bathroom. Really beautiful. and this just looks beautiful too. Really love both of these. I think going forward, I'll probably do 1 or 2 mattes and a shimmer. Like I said before, like gingerbread with All Right, or gingerbread with Jingle Bell, or matcha cookie with Jingle Bell, or matcha cookie with Elf Wish, you know, more simplified versions. I wanted to try out as many shades as I could in this video. I think with the Christmas Eve palette as well, it'll be like, you know, I love blue, so I might do blue looks kind of like I did with the multi-chrome, or blue with this gold, or the pale yellow gold. That would look really pretty. Or like the green with the pale gold, or the green with, or softly with this taupe, something like that. I think I'll do those kind of looks more often than this, but I really like both of these, and the shades perform beautifully. So, thoughts on the palettes. I would say this is the same Oden sEye formula that I'm used to. The mattes are really pigmented. They layer and blend together beautifully. The shimmers are really beautiful. Some of the textured ones can cause some fallout, so be warned, but they all look beautiful. The packaging is stunning. I think they did a really great job. The only complaint I really have is the typos. I just think I don't know if it was because they were rushed or what, but it just seems weird to have so many typos or potential typos. Like, there's definitely a couple typos here because they're spelled differently in 2 places. And then I feel like these are typos too. So I don't love that, but it's not a deal breaker for me. I'm not really looking at the shade names very often. They're mostly there for me if I'm telling someone what I used. I can say I used this shade, or filming, I'm saying I'm putting this shade here. But on a day-to-day use, like in a normal situation when I'm not filming, the shade names don't really matter, so it doesn't really bother me that much. But I did want to point out that those are there, and they're pretty obvious. So if you were thinking about picking this up, I do think they're really good quality. Hopefully they have a good Black Friday sale if you can't afford them, but you still want them, because they are really pretty, and I think they did a really good job on the formulation and the color story and all of that. So let me know in the comments below what you think of the looks. Sorry again for how long this video is probably gonna be, but swatches and 4 looks is just a lot, and I'm a long-winded person. I teach for a living, so I'm just a long-winded person. But let me know what you think of the looks. If you've picked up the palettes and you've probably gotten them by now if you picked them up, what your thoughts are. I'd love to hear your opinions. As always, thank you so much for watching. Remember to like and subscribe, and I will see you in my next video.